Whole lot of gang shit. It's a whole lot of gang shit going on. What's cracking? What's happening? How you living? How is you living? It's your girl, Lady Rev, and I am here with another episode of Talking Out the Side of the Neck. I think I'm gonna title this episode Stalks in Mistakes. Stalks in Mistakes. That's coming from a poem I am working on. So here, I'm going to read my blurb. As always, I'm going to read the blurb that I wrote for myself. This one's a little longer. I usually write just like 2 sentences. So I'm going to read that, and then I'm just going to go off the dome, talk outside of the neck. So this paper, my little bit of paper, it says, stop downplaying your mistakes. See mistakes for what they are, how they have affected others, how it affected you. Did you learn anything? How so? Why or why not? Did what you learned change your decision-making process? Okay, boom. Let's go from there. So stop downplaying your mistakes. So one of the first things that I think about, so see your mistakes for what they are, how they affected others, how it affected you. There's a very thin line between accidentally hurting people or accidentally doing things and knowing what the fuck you was doing. It's a very, very thin line. Intention is always everything. I'm always say that. And so if you are doing shit on accident, you're making mistakes on accident, it is not necessarily just your fault. But I will say you need to create strategies to safeguard yourself from making the same mistakes over and over again. On the flip side, if you're one of those people out here that's just flying off the goddamn Richter and you just kind of do whatever the fuck you want to do and you don't really give a fuck about the consequence for it, then you know what the fuck you doing when you make a mistake. I guess it's really my point in that. You know what the fuck you doing when you make a mistake. I think I want to backtrack a little bit here and talk about what I mean by mistakes. So I'm not talking about like baby mistakes, like you spilled some milk or you dropped some food on the floor, or you forgot to do something or whatever. I guess when I'm talking about the mistakes that I'm referring to here are more so like the big shit that affects the life, that affects liberty and freedom, that it affects resources and comfort. And it affects other people's resources and comfort and shit like that. Like, I think that's the type of mistakes I'm referring to. So, for example, like, let's say somebody robbed the food truck that was finna give out 50 turkeys to the hood. And now they selling those 50 turkeys to the hood or some shit. That was a random ass example. But yeah, that's a mistake, big dog. Or like, you make a decision about some shit for your own benefit, but then it fucks with other people in a really bad way. I would consider that a mistake. So those are the type of mistakes I'm referring to. I'm not talking about no spilled milk shit. I don't want to talk about that. So boom, seeing them for what they are. When you fuck up, you fuck up. My mom used to tell us when we was little, I will never uphold you in your wrong. So if you was wrong, you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't no back and forth about it. There wasn't no negotiations or none of that shit. If you was wrong, she expected you to admit to your wrongdoing and to resolve. Okay? And so nobody should have to tell you to do that. Right? That's a really important part of that. No one should have to tell you to do that. On the other hand of that, you should have people around you who are comfortable with kind of holding you accountable for the shit that you choose to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time I was in trouble at school. I got into it with a teacher. I always had a smart ass mouth with my teachers. But I got into it with a teacher, and in the midst of me and this teacher getting into it, this teacher got into my face. She spit on me. there was like a bunch of like aggression coming from the teacher towards me. Now, this teacher said that I was a car rider. I don't know if y'all know what that means, but like a car rider was somebody who was getting picked up by their parents. If you was a bus rider, you would take the school bus home. So since I was a car rider, the teacher was basically like, I'm going to stay with you after school, and then I'm going to come with you to your mom's car, and I'm going to talk to your mom about your behavior today. Now, I had already known that the teacher's aggression towards me was hella inappropriate. So I kind of told the teacher, like, hey, look, I'll walk you to the motherfucking car. You don't know my mama. I'll walk you to the car. It's all good. So when the teacher got to the car, I remember my mom was a beast. Just a side note, my mom was a beast. She was a real gangster. I don't know any other mothers like her. But the teacher got to the car. She started talking. Of course, I'm a kid. I'm in middle school at this time. So I'm like trying to talk over the teacher like, nah, mama, she finna tell you some bullshit. She finna lie. With my mom was like, shut the fuck up. Let this grown lady talk real quick. Let her tell her story and we'll go from there. So I'm a little bit nervous, right? Because I'm like, as the teacher's telling the story, she starts adding in hella shit. And I'm like, God damn, bro, she's going to get me in trouble. Like, I don't know. This might not work out in my favor. And so once the teacher finished telling the story, my mom, like, politely and kindly was like, okay, thank you so much for bringing this concern to me. She's like, now I'm going to ask for you to back the fuck up away from my car before I roll over your fucking feet. And the teacher was like, ooh, she was like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? I just told you how your daughter behaved. She said, oh, no, yeah, I know my daughter. So she was like, yeah, I know. So I know my daughter did some of what you said, but she didn't do all of that. And another thing that I did hear is that you got into my daughter's face and that you were inappropriate and aggressive with my daughter in a way that you shouldn't have done as a teacher. So if you don't back the fuck up from this damn car, I'm going to be forced to beat your ass. The teacher, y'all know what the fuck she did. She backed her ass up from that car. Okay? Now, this happened in Georgia. So my teacher was a black lady. This wasn't no like frail little white woman like we have out here. This was like a black lady who was just as saucy and sassy as my mama. But she wasn't going to see my mama, though. She wasn't about to see my mama, though. And so, you know, once we pulled off my mom, you know, my mom did give me a little bit of a lecture of like how to carry myself with the teachers and how to talk to them. But on the flip side, she was proud that I kind of stood my ground against the teacher and the teacher being inappropriate with me. So that sounds a little complicated, right? Most of us don't have those type of people in our lives who will not uphold us in our wrong. We don't have a lot of people in our lives that will hold us accountable to the stupid mistakes that we make or the dumb choices that we might make that affect us and folks around us. We don't have people with a trusted opinion of us that can help us with that process. So if you don't have those type of people, I do encourage you to find them. And not that doesn't mean you have to like literally go out looking for them, but you know, open up space in your life for those type of people to come into your life. In the meantime, if you do not have them, this is why it is extremely important to really know yourself. The very first episode of Talking Out the Side of the Neck is, are you a good person? It's like, what person do you want to be? Who do you see yourself as? How do you decide that? With the whoop? So that's why that's really important, because if you know yourself, right, if you really know who you are, then you know how to hold yourself accountable. You know when you're making bad decisions. You know when you're making mistakes, and you know when those mistakes are intentional or not. And it's up to you to hold yourself accountable. Like, granted, I was a kid, so my mother's ability to hold me accountable, like teach me accountability at such a young age, like, you know, that was just like, that was a gem right there. That was some real wisdom type shit. And I don't know that a lot of parents do that type of shit, you know what I'm saying, to the benefit of their children, you know what I'm saying, because my mom would do it against her as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom would test us. If you, let's say you watch my mom take this juice and spill this juice on the table, my mom would look at you and be like, well, why did you spill the juice? And it'd be like, well, I didn't spill the juice. And she was like, oh, yeah, you spilled the juice, and whoop. And she'll go back and forth with you, and it'll get kind of heated. And then eventually, if you concede and be like, okay, I'm sorry I spilled the juice, she'll be like, why the fuck would you say that if you know that I did it? And you're like, damn, well, there's all this tension, there's all this pressure, like, I feel like you're my mom. And she'd be like, I don't give a fuck about none of that. If you know that you didn't do it, stand your ground. Stand your ground. And whatever consequences come with that, it's okay because you're in the right. If you are in the right, be in the right. Don't do anything to make a motherfucker feel like you was wrong if you know that you was not wrong, okay? There's a very thin line between that. But that's just like some shit that she instilled in us at a very young age. And a lot of folks don't do that shit to the benefit of the children. And so, yeah, figure that shit out. Now to go back to where we was, seeing the mistakes for what they are. Bro, you know what the fuck you doing, bro. Like, I don't have to sit here and, like, explain how your mistake is a mistake. That's not the point of this talk. It's more so, like, if you know that you fucked up, bro, go make amends for what you fucked up for. Shouldn't nobody have to tell you that stupid ass shit? Shouldn't nobody be begging for for you to forgive them or no, none of that shit? And on the other side of that token, like, nigga, if you gotta beg a motherfucker for them to show some remorse or forgiveness towards you for something that they did to you, please stop. I don't want to call it dehumanizing, but like, to me, that's a slap in the face. Like, that's a pride thing for me. Like, I'm very prideful, so I'd be damned if I beg a motherfucker to make amends with me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be damned if I beg someone to reconcile, you know what I'm saying, or resolve some shit that they caused. Fuck that. I'm 100% comfortable with giving a nigga space. I'm 100% comfortable with backing the fuck up and just like not fucking with that person. And that doesn't have to be some beef shit. Like, that's how I know motherfuckers don't know how to communicate, because just because y'all disagree or some shit had happened to y'all, it doesn't mean it has to be a beef. You can disconnect from people and not have no smoke. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like all that gossiping shit back and forth and this long-term beef and subliminal messages and social media gangsters and all that bullshit. Like, what is that for? Like, what are we, fucking 5? Like, why? How does that benefit any party? You know what I'm saying? To me, it makes both parties look stupid. It seems like both parties are wasting a lot of time and energy that could be used in way more like important shit. And quite frankly, if you have to beg anyone to do right by you, they don't deserve to be in your life. They just don't. They don't deserve to be there then. I mean, I think that's a pretty simple thing. So yeah, so see your mistakes for what they are and how they have affected people around you. Did you learn anything? I forgot to reset this timer. Did you learn anything from the mistake? Excuse me. As we reflect on ourselves and trying to make ourselves the best version of who we want to be, it is very important for us to monitor what we learn from the mistakes that we make. So it's not even just about being accountable for fucking up. It's also being intentional about what you learn from the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't learn nothing from your fuck up, then I think you probably just need to spend a little more time either reviewing that or just trying out other ways to do the same thing and see if you get the same result or not. And then you could do like a comparison type thing. But yeah, like, what do you learn from it? And does it change your decision-making process in the future? These are all really important, right? Because I think I said in the last episode when committing to change, I think I said in that episode, like, there's no way in West Hee Ha Hell that you should be going through the same motherfucking lesson like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. You're a problem if that's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my favorite things to say to folks is like, if all this shit is happening to you, but you're the only common denominator, like across all these different people, places, and things, you're the only common denominator, then the problem low-key got to be you, because you're the only common denominator. That's how fractions work. So you really need to sit back and kind of figure out, like, what fucking decisions and choices are you making, bro, to keep going through that same ass bullshit over and over again? Now, if your mistakes involve other people, I feel like I need to make a note on that. If your mistakes involve other people, then shit, maybe you need to not fuck with those people. Maybe not fuck with those people. But I mean, overall, my overall point is just to stop downplaying your mistakes. Like, if you fucked up, please admit that you fucked up and be ready to reconcile for that, whatever you would need to do. Now, I don't believe in ass kissing. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I don't believe in ass kissing. So I'm not saying like you have to be slaving away and constantly apologizing to people and whoop-de-whoop. I do not believe in no bullshit like that. Like, if I fucked up, I'm going straight up. Like, I have some time sometimes. I'm a little stubborn. So if I fucked up, I might not admit it right away. I'll take some time to myself, think about it. You know what I'm saying? I have people that I trust that I'll be like, hey, if you were in this situation, how would you handle it? And I'll use that to better understand myself and my decision-making process. And then I'll be like, well, you know, I wouldn't do what they would do. This is closer to what I would actually do. But on the flip side, how it's being received, I need to work on my delivery or something like that. So now I know what exactly I need to apologize for and how to move forward. I don't know why, but that point just came to my head because sometimes something that other people see as mistakes, like shit that we do, that they see as mistakes, we don't see that shit as no mistake. We did this shit on purpose. We was very much so intentional. So that's why I'm saying it has to be levels and layers to it, I guess. And I think that's what my mom taught me as well. Like in the story I just told you guys about the teacher, you know, and how she dealt with that teacher. Like, you know, sometimes your apology might look like, I'm not apologizing for what I said. I'm apologizing for how I said it. Sometimes that's what your resolution could look like. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like I stand on what I feel and what I just put the fuck out. And so I'm just gonna give us some space in the meantime. Maybe we just need some space. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why understanding ourselves, our trauma, our thinking process, our decision-making process, you know what I'm saying? The transformation that we want to see and manifest for ourselves. Like, this is why that shit is so important. Because then everything after, we get to intentionally decide and kind of categorize, I suppose, like how we want to move. You know what I'm saying? So that it aligns with the shit that we trying to do. Like, it needs to align. We ain't out here just doing random ass shit and then hoping for random ass shit results. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you trying to own yourself and you owning your life and your experience, then you're going to be very much so intentional, or at least a fucking aware. Be aware. Be aware. Like, I can't stand a motherfucker just walking around looking lost. Like, why is you looking lost? Where you going? Where you going? But yeah. I think that's the bulk of what I wanted to say on this. I really don't even know if I even got anywhere with it because I feel like I just went into a big ass circle with it. But accountability will probably be the best way to say it. Accountability. Stop downplaying your mistakes. Be accountable for the actions that you take. Be willing and ready to reconcile in areas that you are, like, that's your responsibility to do so. Like, do that shit. That is character to me. That's integrity. You know what I'm saying? That's honesty. That's loyalty. That's trust. And if you get to a place where you're not only able to be accountable for your mistakes, but you also learn how to reconcile them in productive and happy ways, or productive, progressive, whatever ways, it actually builds better and more trusting relationships with people. You know what I'm saying? Because then people start to learn, for one, they're going to, especially if you're consistent, they're going to learn what type of person you really are. You know what I'm saying? They're going to, it'll help people understand your true intentions. You know what I'm saying? Your true direction in life. It can also help people with their own process of being accountable and claiming their own goddamn mistakes and making a resolution to those you know what I'm saying? Like, it can help other motherfuckers grow their shit. You know what I'm saying? And then last but not least, it makes you feel good. it just makes you feel good, dude. Cause it's just an ownership thing. Like, you know, what's done in the dark comes to light type energy. Like, if there's nothing in the dark and someone tries to bring it to light, it's almost like, what you trying to accomplish? Everybody already knows. Like, you don't have to go whispering and gossiping about the shit. Motherfuckers know what's up with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not in the air of like trying to prove yourself or something to people or trying to create a reputation per se. It's more so like security in self. That's how I see it. I take it as security in self because I know who I am so much so, and I'm so good at being who I am, that even strangers know who I am. Even people who don't like me know who I am. Even people who are questioning me still know who the fuck I am. Does that make sense? Like, I really don't know. Like, I remember in college, you know, I was a BSU president and I went through some shit with some folks. And I just remember, like, years later, after all of that shit, like, I made some mistakes for sure. And I could be honest and say in some of those mistakes, I was too prideful to admit my wrong. And instead, I just gave it space or I backed up. But on the flip side of that, years later, there's some folks who came to me privately and was like, all these years later, I finally understand what the fuck happened. And I apologize to you type shit, you know? And that shit's a good feeling, yo. It's a good feeling even if it comes years later or whatever. It's just a good feeling because it just shows that we've all matured. We've all grown. And people are being accountable for themselves and they want to claim who they are in your eyes type shit. I don't even know if I'm making sense. I'm just talking out the side of the neck. But yeah, stop acting like you didn't fuck up when you know good and damn well that you fucked up. And fix it. That's all you gotta do. So, all right, y'all. What's this, episode 5? It's ganging here, man. All right, y'all. Be easy, stay breezy. And as usual, please don't get kidnapped by no white peasies.